how do you feel about the autistic label? Did it help? Did it not help? Do you not like it? How do you feel about having a label?
The label of autistic, it doesn't bother me at all, but in the same vein, I find it quite confusing, because if you have an autistic child in your family, you have met one autistic child, and it's not the same. It's not like saying, I have brown hair and I get labelled as a brown-haired person. It's so different because of the spectrum that it's almost not a label, and as I see it, it's a diagnosis rather than a label. And that's how I see it. I don't actually see it as a label.
Okay, well, that's interesting. James?
I believe it's probably going to end up, if you accept it for what it is the most important tool that you'll be given.
So you're seeing it more as a tool as opposed to a label?
The way that I with my son, the practice of it is, he's 10 and he's old enough to know, he's asked questions, he knows what it is, he knows that it affects him, he knows how it affects him. The thing that I teach him the most is that, first off, don't use it as a defensive mechanism.
It's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. Don't turn around and go, I have autism, leave me alone. No. Turn around and try your hardest. And if people aren't figuring out or can't understand why you're having an issue with it, then maybe turn around and go, look, I'm sorry. If you're in an environment you don't like, and you need to excuse yourself, and it's the kind of thing where you can't excuse yourself. You can excuse yourself. It is your right. But it is not something to use, I don't feel like doing this.
Exactly.
And it's a very hard, it's a tool. It is a tool.
Yeah. It is a reason, not an excuse.
That's right.
It's a reason why I might struggle to listen to Dad saying, please do the dishes.
Yep.
And I've got to process what I've got to do, what I've got to do now, when I'm going to do it, I don't want to.
Yep.
As opposed to being an excuse like, well, I'm autistic, so
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, Keith has turned around and he has said it to people. He has gone up and introduced himself in his funny ways. And he's gone, hello, asked them a few interesting probing questions to a stranger he hasn't really met before, and then finished it by going, hi, my name is, and I have blah, 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 I'm sorry, thank you, bye. So he uses it as his justification to why he's just introduced himself in that manner. So he gets it, he knows that it's limiting. But he knows that it's also, it shouldn't be the reason he stops doing things. Yeah. It should just be the reason that if he doesn't do them exactly how he wants to, if he's not doing it to somebody else's standard, if they don't know, they're not going to understand why he's not.
And I guess I would say that it's not limiting as such, but it opens up a whole lot of doors.
That's right. That's exactly right.
There are so many people in this world who are autistic and earn lots of money, are very creative, are very intelligent, and it doesn't hold them back.
Yeah. I saw it, as I said, a diagnosis, but as a pathway to understanding, and more so than a label.
And I think you're right. So, cool.